Crawler podcast. I believe this is episode 17. I do not remember off the top of my head. We've hit so many at this point now that I've stopped counting. We're just kind of having fun with it, and we're going. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out the podcast last week, I recommend that you do so, but not selfishly. Last week was the episode that I was featured in. I know that I've had a lot of people reach out and ask questions. Hey, what's SPA? What are some of the things you guys are doing? I'm really interested with what the podcast was. If you have those questions, feel free to reach out to me. But for those of you that reach out in the future, I'm just going to send you to the podcast now that one's done. But it was a fun one. I had a ton of fun talking with Matt. We got to talk about SPA. We got to talk about the League Crawler podcast. We got to talk about pros versus schmoes. We got to talk about just about everything on the table. It was a ton of fun. The other big piece of news this week is shout out to 40 Low. He has gifted a sub of 2,000 something people over to League Crawler. We'll have more info on that going forward at some point. But I wanted to make sure that's in my notes. And we got that out there. There will be some news coming on that in the future on what that's all going to be about. I also want to make sure that we mention the monthly giveaway for June. This is going to be a big thing that Matt wants to do with the Patreon, the support coming in from Patreon. And here's how it's going to work. Patreon, we are going to take the funds that come from that. We are going to do gift cards. We're going to do some type of monthly giveaway where somebody has an opportunity to win. And people are going to be like, well, how do I get to be a part of that? Do you have to be a Patreon? If you want all the info, my best advice right now is to go over to leaguecrawler.com, and the main page is a huge section right now that will tell you all of the details. A couple little things. It's going to be based on how much money they get that month. It is going to, I don't think they're doing all, I think they're cutting in half. If you are a Patreon member, I believe you get 4 entries. If you are a gold member, you get 3 entries. If you are silver, you get 2. If you are bronze, you get 1. I believe there's other ways to enter, be it watching YouTube videos, subscribing to the channel, following on Twitter, different kinds of things. Again, guys, I don't want to just give you all the info because I want you to go to the site. I want you to go like, Mo, you didn't give me enough. Like I want to win a couple $100. I want to win $20. I want to win whatever you guys got, but you didn't give me enough info. I did that on purpose. Get your butt over to the site and check it out for yourself. It's got all the info there. Matt did an incredible job of setting that all up. Huge shout out to him. There's new features coming soon. So, guys, just be on the lookout for what Matt's doing. He is working incredibly hard behind the scenes. I want to give him a huge shout out. He's got a lot of cool things planned. So, big shout out to Matt. And again, guys, be on the lookout for what he's got coming. It's another big piece of news. Shout out to our Patreon Platinum members. You have the USO League, you have Soda and Bowl, and you have SPA, Sim Players Association. Shout out to all you guys for supporting the ride. Let's get into the show. Today, we have a very fun guest. I've heard a little bit about what they do. I've dug in to kind of see what they all got going on. They want to see who the best gamers are. Gold from Best of the Best and Rest of the Bus, man. Welcome to the League Crawler podcast, bro.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you. Appreciate you having me on here. Nice spot to be here.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. It's real lighthearted. We kind of talk about your views on Madden, your league, the things you guys got going on in the community. But it should be a lot of fun, man. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Stay ready.
Tell me how this all got started. I know you guys are doing a league called Best of the Best. We want to get into that at some point, but I'd like to take a step even further back, and I want to know how this all got started.
Back in 2019, I was heavy into head-to-head. I actually broke into the top 100, and then some guy who beat me messaged me and said, "You play CFM," and I was like, "What is that?" And he gave me the invite, joined the league called Pick 6. And just was in love with what it was, because this is what I used to do when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I would play Madden. I would transport old college rosters to the next season. I would do this by myself with a computer, but now you're telling me I can do this with 32 other people. So I was like, this is sick. So I jumped in and went ahead and started doing that in 19. Did that for a season, joined that league, and then there was a bunch of guys who were pretty good, but I wanted to bring in a little bit more competitiveness, so I started bringing all the guys I would lose to and invite them to CFM since I was in the top 100, top 200, whatever it was. And I would invite those guys in to try to create a more competitive atmosphere. And because there was one guy I couldn't beat, and we'll hear this one guy's name because there's a lot of people who can't beat this one guy. And so I just wanted to create a league to beat this guy. So that's when Rest of the Best started. It was back then called EA Super Bowlers, and just wanted to get that league up and running. And after building that league, Rest of the Best, I ventured out even to more leagues, and Best of the Best ended up being just a bunch of big leagues, Soden, any league that you can name out there in CFM. I wanted to get the best of those leagues together and try to create a community to beat this one guy.
So the whole piggyback then on this was just to make sure that this one dude was getting his butt kicked then, right? Like you just wanted to make sure that somebody was coming in to provide him some kind of competition, and that just kind of got into having all these leagues just compete head to head.
Yeah, so I couldn't beat him. The guys I was bringing in couldn't beat him. So I was just like, there's got to be, this dude can't be the best. There's got to be other leagues out there that can beat him. And I just wanted to see this guy lose for once, basically. So go ahead.
Did it work?
No, because here he is running Best of the Best. We've been doing this since 2019. We ran through 2020. A few guys came in, gave him problems, but he would always adjust and win. And the season started this year. He lost the first Best of the Best of this year to a guy named Scars from Gridiron, great player. And they went and met each other in Super Bowl II, both as 19-0 undefeated. And he defeated him there. And then he went and repeated last year. I think his record in 3 seasons against some of the best that I've found and put together, I think he's maybe lost like 3 games.
Yo, what I would like to do right now, hearing all this, I'd like to give your man a shout out. What's dude's name?
Those know him as the GOAT, but his name is Boppem. Some of the guys in the league call him GOAT because he's just simply that. He keeps winning. His name is Boppem.
Okay, so I want to put myself in the shoes of somebody that's listening to this and being like, yo, I'm a beast at this game. Like, you guys haven't seen me yet. I can come in, I can beat Boppem. Boppem's not good at all, right? I want to put myself in the shoes of that guy. If I'm hearing this and I'm like, yo, I want to get involved, one, what are the rules that I would be looking at? Like there's a lot of sim leagues out there. There's a lot of competitive leagues out there. What are the rules that you guys currently have that I would be playing under?
So my thought in making this game is making this league, because I've played in over 15 leagues. Everyone has their own set of rules. So I just went around and figured, let's try to this. First of all, it's on a sim run. It's run under the sim. But I wanted to make sure that try to eliminate as much as the AI glitching, the cheesing. So my main thing is no what is that? Motion snapping, letting those receivers get a free release. I want this more of a chess match. So I want to. I don't want to see the best cheeser. I want to see the best chess match and who can adjust and make adjustments to their opponent. So it's almost competitive, but with the sim rules. So it's a little mix of both. So I have guys in comp and sim who complain, but they adjust, and we're all on the same even playing field. So we're playing the same rules. So and I'm very strict to the rules. So everyone has been playing in the league for a while now, so they get the rules, and there's not much problems with the rules anymore. Every now and then, there's a new guy that comes in, but it's a pretty good setup. Rules, just easy to come in and play. Why don't you just come in and play your game?
So if I'm coming in, I'm looking like I'm not going to be a cheeser. Do you guys have a strafe rule? Do you have a play count rule where I can only call a certain amount of plays times a game? Like what really are we looking at? Like if I'm diving in and I really want to give this thing a go.
So we have the cooldown of 3 plays. We have the limit of 7 plays in a game, so it's pretty generous. And and that's pretty much it. You can
Okay.
play from there.
So from that point on, I come in. I got to make sure that I'm limiting myself what I can do, but I can pretty much come in and compete.
Yeah, you can pretty much compete. I want you to be able to come in and not have to think about the rules too much. The main things I focus on is just know the fourth down, just know that there's no motion snapping. You can't no huddle. The biggest thing I don't like is seeing someone no huddle right on the 1 yard line and someone's in quarters and can't adjust. So I like I said, I want to make it a chess match. So I just make sure that you go to the huddle and call a play and play at the line of scrimmage instead of trying to just grab a quick, easy one.
So if I'm a single user, I'm looking for a league, I got nothing out there. Rest of the best is the place that I'm looking for because I want to be part of the community and I want to do this. But I also know that you guys have another league called Best of the Best. And this is where we're taking even further outside the community. And we're really finding guys in other leagues that can do it. And you mentioned that before. If I'm a commissioner and I believe that my league can compete in this, can you kind of give me the setup on how many guys I can get involved, what this is kind of looking like, what the winners are getting? Like fill me in on now Best of the Best and how it can help a community of a league trying to get involved.
So typically the best of the best, I normally wait till the NFL trade deadline. So we don't get our first season till late because I want to give leagues a chance to get their champions and find out who's legit at this season and then to play with the most updated rosters. So that's why we're only in season 4 right now. But to get if you want to get in, all you got to do is basically have a championship, be one of the top dogs from the league. And like I said, I'm in like every league possible because I've been searching. I being at stay-at-home work, I have opportunity to play more and be in other leagues and see who the top dogs are. So I just research and just follow to see who's good and give people a shot.
Now, I was going through there. I did see on there that you guys offer some kind of like prize money for winners and stuff. Can you kind of fill people in on what that's all about?
Yeah, so we started the season with a $300 prize. It's long term, so it's a point system. You win a Super Bowl, you get an amount of points. You win your division, you get a certain amount of points. So at the end of 5 seasons, whoever has the highest tally ends up winning the money. But Boppem went to the Super Bowl won, so he's got all those points other than winning it. And then he went undefeated back-to-back years in 2 and 3. So he's pretty much locked up the $300 prize pool from the league and trying to come up with another set of goal money for another prize for season 5 that won't include him since he's already won that money. So I want to be able to give the money out to some of the other players. So that's where we are with the money right now.
So we try to figure out a way not to make sure that Boppem keeps getting paid. This dude's just kind of working everybody. I like the plan here, man. One of the things that interested me the most is when I was looking through your guys' stuff, I noticed that you guys do a recruiting server actually through your league, through both leagues. And what's interesting about that is there's a lot of leagues out there, man, that they're like, you know what? I really don't want you to come in and recruit from what we do. And we worked really hard to kind of get where we're at. What made you do something different and go, you know what? I really don't care. Come in and recruit all you want.
It's just a mindset. It's an attitude. I mean, if you have the attitude of thinking like I only have so much in my hand and I don't want to share, I think I just like kind of like live my life like this as well. You know, just be generous and give, and more will come back to you. So I'm opening and helping other leagues. I have a all commissioner chat in my league for people who are starting leagues to ask questions and get advice and get help. So I want to help build up other leagues. And I just want to be in every league's hands to like help and my goal is to get all these leagues to have that attitude, and that way we can share, because believe it or not, all these players, whether you try to shield them from other commissioners, they are in every other league. You're not stopping a individual from being in your league and jumping into another league. So might as well just share the pot and communicate and work together. Work hard, work smarter, not harder.
I completely agree with you, man. And if I'm gonna piggyback on that with you, we do the same thing over in the league that I run. That we allow recruiting wherever you want. I've had guys come in and be like, "Hey, do you care if we do this?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'll throw out a message to everybody for you if you want." And here's the thing that I kind of see with that is as you start I almost want to call it like babying guys. You don't want to kind of get them out there to go sign anything. They see that, and they notice like you're trying to pigeonhole me. And I feel like it's almost kind of a weak move for people to be like, yeah, don't recruit from here. It's like, do you have no confidence in your product? Like, if you're putting out quality stuff and guys are wanting to come join your league, you should have no issue with them going out to recruit other places because you're putting out some of the bomb stuff that they want to come back to anyway. So I agree with kind of your point of view. But the reason I wanted to bring that up is because this is why Matt allows me to do the show is I can transition into our sponsors really well. And like you said, man, you allow recruiting because you want them to go out and you want to help and you want to do anything. And that's exactly what spacetrader.com is. Have you ever heard of spacetrader.com?
I've heard it several times on the podcast, and every time you talk about it, it sounds very appealing. So I would love to learn more.
Thank you. You just helped me with this. You were an excellent co-host for this episode. Spacetrader.com is an amazing site because it's built for people to grow their businesses, and it's made so that you don't feel alone. I know one of the hardest things, even for myself, going into my own business and doing some of these kind of things, is knowing that no one really knows me out here. No one's out here to help me. And spacetrader.com actually provides that. They give you an opportunity to go out and make connections with people, help them out while they help you out. It's a great way to grow your business. If there's anybody out there, it's like, you know what? I think I could use a little bit of extra insight on what we got going on. Or if you're like, you know what? I've been through the struggle before. I know what people are going through and I want to help those. Get over to spacetrader.com. Figure out what it's all about. I highly, highly recommend it. It's got no E at the end, spacetrader.com. It's an amazing site, man. And I really encourage you guys to tap into it. Matt works incredibly hard on it. And I know that he does incredible stuff for league crawlers. So to support Matt, get over there and help it all out. Having said all of that, you've got these two leagues. You guys are going. Madden 21 is halfway. It's more than through the halfway point. As a commissioner myself, I have learned a lot about the leagues, how they're going to run going forward. What did you learn about your guys' league through this process of Madden 21?
As far as question me that one more time.
With this version, what did you guys learn as a league?
I mean, this version is still. Are you talking about Madden 21 and Madden 20? They're basically the same, with a little bit different gameplay. So the transition from last year to this year, we just fell right into it and moved along. The ROTB Rest of the Best, which is the first league I started, that we are now just rebooting. We just started our reboot, so that there's been a lot of excitement with that. I give guys an opportunity to buy devs. They get like 2 devs, an X Factor, a superstar. They pay it, and that goes towards the pot to build for the prize pool. So I'm not coming out of pocket as much as I used to. So the league is now at the point where people trust that I'm going to pay out and they're going to get paid. And I find that the people who actually pay, it brings a better quality of the league because there's less turnover. So that's where I've actually transitioned this year, is into knowing what my time is worth and the value that I'm going to give these guys, and asking for the $15 or whatever it is to give them an experience that no other league is going to give. And I treat my guys like customers. So I come from a customer service based background and work. So I treat people who come in as a customer, and you pay the $15, I'm going to give you a great experience.
Yeah, no, and that's a great answer. I think we kind of transitioned to what I was kind of asking throughout that. But to piggyback on that, like something that I learned as a commissioner this year was just how hard it is to keep people engaged as next gen was coming out.
Yes.
I know that was something that I was just not prepared for. I felt like we could have something that would just go, but I mean, next gen is next gen and people like love it. Were there things going through the process that you kind of were like, yeah, for next year, we'll do that a little bit differently?
I am actually going to transition my leagues over to next gen next year. So I just stuck with my bread and butter on the current gen, and when that next gen came out, it was a little bit of a trouble finding quality players. But when I'm in all these different leagues and I can recruit and see who's actually active and plays their games, and uh, I hold a rule for my leagues, in no tanking. Inactivity kills the league. Make people sign up to play, not to take a forced win. So I try to make everyone play their games and try to stay active, because the minute a league gets inactive, that's when you start having a lot of holes open. And then as a commish, you just got to jump on that right away before the floodgates open, and you're in trouble.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I completely agree with you. I think activity is the thing that drives the league. When people see that you're allowing members to just kind of lay in the back, there's no motivation, because I mean you can stay in a league and just not participate. That's not something anybody wants to be part of. So I agree with that completely. Now that I don't want to say that this version's almost over. We got about 3 months, 3.5 months before Madden 22 comes out. What are some, and there's been really no info released on what's coming. What are some things that you're hoping for with the next version that will help you guys over in rest of the best and best of the best?
I hope they really fix Madden franchise, like they say. I'm hoping we get more features as commissioners, or I can't even fathom like what else they can come up with. I think the things that they did, even just a small amount, what they did this year, giving us the play call limit, the cooldown. Um, those were cool. So I'm hoping for a little bit more detail into the franchise, just to give us a new experience, not
Now,
just a repeat of 2020 to 2021.
now I want to let you know I'm friends with one of the devs. I'm going to take the info that you give me. I'm writing it down, and I'm going to take it right to them after this conversation. Okay. Give me a list of 3 things that you are like, this has to be included. We have to have this for Madden 22.
Oh, that's on the spot. Let me see.
I know, man. I'm good at this.
You put me on, because there's so much. There's so much, and then you throw that right there in my face. It's like, okay, I got to step back and think about that. Um, I think like make notes. I would, as a franchise, like I said, I'm in so many different franchises. I would love an area to make notes of where I'm building with this team, what I want, uh, what am I targeting for my draft picks. Where I'm thinking like big picture, like my draft next season. I'm going to need to have this guy's going to be retiring in 3 seasons, so I need to start grooming. And then when I jump into these different leagues, I forget what my plan is, because each franchise is a different story. So I would like to have some kind of notes to, as a GM, to myself, to remember what the game plan is. Acts a little bit more control of being able to free agency if people are making pickups that they're not supposed to. Just giving us the commissioners a little more access to block certain things from people making pickups or trying to protect the free agent. Just a little more access to the off season stuff, or new off season, more off season detail.
Nice. Those are great answers. I agree with all of them.
Well, I do have one
Let's
that I
hear it.
just thought of. Uh, I want the injuries to be a little bit more realistic. You play sim, you raise it up a little bit, everyone gets hurt, or you leave it at the default, then it nobody gets hurt. So I'd like to see the backups being used more, or I guess that's all settings that you can do. So I don't know. There's a lot that can be done, but anything they do is gonna, as long as they do something and not just do a rinse and repeat like they did, I think the community will be happy.
I'm I'm highly, highly encouraged with the things that I've heard and seen so far. I know that franchise is going to be something that they really, really dive into this year. The details of that, I'm still not able to really get into, but I'm encouraged with it. Having said that, though, here's an interesting situation, right? I do this podcast every single week with people from the Madden community. They come in here, we kind of talk. And the one thing that I recognize with all of them is that all of us are in these leagues with 32 different people. We're all doing these franchises thing. We're all playing against other people. One of the biggest complaints with franchise mode right now, though, is that they want to fix all of these things that people outside of 32 person modes feel are broken, and they're right, because the AI for drafting, for depth charts, for all these things is broken and it needs fixed. If all of they work on going into this year are things that will fix franchise mode for a user playing 31 computer people rather than a 32 person franchise, how disappointed are you going to be?
If they only do it for against the computers,
No,
31 computer.
like, so if they really work on, again, to break it out a little more, when I talk to the devs, I know they really want to get back to the base of what they're doing. They really want to focus on what the computer is able to do. But you're in a 32 person league. That's not going to do anything for you. If they spend all this time fixing the AI for computers, or they spend all this time fixing who these guys are going to draft, that's not really going to be something that helps, but it is a lot of work into franchise mode. Are you going to be okay with that work? Or are you like, no, that doesn't really help me, I don't really care about that?
I'm not one of the ones that thinks this is the worst game. I love Madden. I've been playing Madden. My joke is, since it was just called John Madden,
Yep.
so or just Madden. I love the game. I think what they've done is great. So I think as an optimist, I'll be happy. I'm happy every year. I play this thing from August till August straight through. My leagues will go from August till August straight through. So as much as people complain, we still are knocking at the door playing and buying it on release date. So I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I think I'm just happy that they recognize this is a direction they need to go in. If they have to spend a year recreating the base of it all, it is what it is. I am just happy that they're doing something with it, though. My fear, I won't lie to you, though. My fear is that they're going to do all this work for half the franchise community that only does CFM and they don't do anything against the computer. Is going to go, you did like nothing for me. You still haven't done anything. There's still going to be this uproar. And then they're just going to be like, these people are never going to be happy. So it is my fear with how the Madden community operates. But I'm encouraged with what I've heard so far. So I think there's going to be some good things in place.
I think what they can do for the 32 users, that we can't control the linemen. We can't control the offensive linemen. I was just playing a game earlier today, and they don't have the smarts for a guard to peel off and pick off that wide blitzing DB like in real life. I mean, if someone has a 99 awareness, the AI should be able to realize, hey, this play has ran a few times. As an all-pro guard, I need to be ready to peel off because that middle backer is not coming. Most dangerous inside doesn't come, so you look outside. That's something that I would like them to develop, is a little bit more smarts for the offensive line to be a little bit more realistic than the big guard just shuffling his feet and watching a speedy corner peel off the back end.
Oh, brother, you're talking my language, because one of my biggest complaints when it comes to players playing smart is the way that quarterbacks miss at times. I don't care that quarterbacks miss. In fact, I wish they'd miss a little bit more often. My complaint, though, is where they're missing, because a lot of these guys in game, even the top quarterbacks, are missing right to defensive backs. And I get missing, but missing a place that there's nobody. Like like barely out throw my wide receiver, do something. So I have mentioned that to them, is like, is there a way that we can tune quarterback play so that they're still missing, but it's in areas where we're not seeing so many interceptions?
Yes,
There's
exactly.
fix.
I'm on you with that. You know, you got guys doing 20 for 24 and throwing 3 picks.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And they're overthrown. It's just a bad AI spot.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. So like, that's some of that stuff. When you talk about where the AI is currently placed in game, they're gonna have to do a lot of fixing up. Another big complaint for me when it comes to like where the AI is currently is even on all Madden. It seems if I'm controlling a defensive player, they literally will run right past the guy with the ball and act like they do not see him at all. And then they'll hit stick the air or they'll dive at the air and they'll do all these crazy things, but it looks terrible.
I agree. That needs to be fixed up and patched up too. And like I said, I'm a half glass full guy. I'm gonna be optimistic and hope they get this together, and we'll be here talking next year about how great the new game is and the new features they added.
Oh, I agree with you, man. I'm totally glass half full. Even with all the issues, I play Madden more than I play any other game in my repertoire, so I can't really complain that much. They provide me a ton. If anybody's like, Mo, you didn't get your $60 worth, they're lying because I literally play this game every single day.
It's the greatest bargain for me. I buy one game a year.
Yeah.
$60 is nothing because I steal every penny from that game and make it last from August till August.
Now, before we go too much further, I do got to get into our next sponsor. If you guys are content creators, if you're out on YouTube, if you are on Twitch, if you're wanting to do videos about cats, if you're wanting, it doesn't matter what the content is, it doesn't have to be Madden. If you are wanting to start your own thing, you're like, yo, I need my own logo, I need my own intro video, I need an overlay, I need these different kind of things. Go to Shatter Creations with a Z, not spelled out that whole way, just replace the S with the Z, shattercreations.com, and they will hook you up with just about anything that you need. If you mention that you came from Leak Crawler, they will give you 20% off on whatever it is. Pretty cool deal, right?
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, man. We're pretty cool over there, man. We have a lot.
I'm actually going to have to check that out because I am not the most tech savvy person, but I have these huge ideas in my head for my league as far as content creation and people. So I'm going to have to definitely check that out.
Get in my DMs as soon as we're done. I'll send you some cool stuff. We do. I mean, I think last year I did an award show where we used the green screen. I put myself in front of like a desk and stuff, so like people it actually looked there. We had a whole. I'll send you the whole thing. It's awesome work. I enjoy doing it. But yeah, man, whatever you need, we got you.
I'm on it.
So let me ask you this: you mentioned that you're in all these different leagues because you want to find out who the best are, so they come join best of the best, do all these different things. But with that experience, you have to have learned a lot or seen a lot where you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. Are there any things that stick out through this journey so far that you've seen in other leagues where you're like, that's really well done, and I'd like to talk about that?
I love Soden. I love what they do. Very organized. When I first started, I would always follow them on Twitter before I was even on CFM. That was something I was just looking at, not really understanding what it was. But now that I'm in it, I love what they do. Who's the other one? MSR. I'm in their league as well. They do a great job with content. I just like to have the realism, people tweeting, talking about the league, and just staying active in the chats. I learned the strafe rule from those leagues. So everyone has their different things that they do, but those are some of the benchmark leagues that I look up to and just take and steal stuff and bring back to my league, just how I want to run my league and things like that. So
now I know you said Boppem is your guys' go-to guy. He's the guy that's dominating just about everybody. I'm assuming he's doing that over at Best of the Best as well, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he's destroying everybody. So you guys have that locked in where you guys have the best of the best. But when you look out at leagues that maybe have a couple different users that have joined to do this, what leagues really stand out that have like other users really like these guys are talented. They've got some ballers over here.
Gridiron Generals had Scars, have Daddy Sweater. There's some guys in Soden that they're stuck in Soden. That's their league. So there's other leagues that I've been in that haven't crossed over. Their champion hasn't crossed over. So I'm just hoping one day that there's an expansion that I can get some of those who have more time to cross over. But for those who have time and want to join my league, on that recruiting server, the best of the best recruiting server, there is a channel in there for league versus league competition. So I'll run my best 5 against any other league's best 5 because I'm still trying to create interest to a competitive interest to play other leagues without having to be in each other's leagues.
That's a very interesting dynamic because like I would love an opportunity for EA to do stuff where like you could pull your own team like from a franchise and go play somebody else.
Ooh, that is a great idea.
But seeing what you guys are doing right now with the competition thing, it's just a lot of fun, man. So I want to give you guys a huge shout out. Kudos to you. This goes out to anybody out there that thinks that you've got any skill. If you put a controller in your hands and you're like, you know what? I'm a G. I can't be touched. These guys aren't as good as me. I go into all these leagues. They call me a bum. They say I can't do these, but I go in and I work them. If that's you, hit this dude up, hit gold up, and be like, gold. I need in. I got to prove that I'm the best. Because if you are, and that is you, this dude's looking for you. This is your shot. This is your call out. We're talking to you. Gold, is there anything else that you want to hit on, man, before we get out of here?
No, that last bit you just hit on it perfectly. I am looking for someone to humble my guy because everyone he's humbled and they either stay and just hang out or he's made some good people leave. So I am looking forward to competition. I'm looking forward to help other leagues. Check out my server, build your league, and we can build together.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I got a guy over in my league right now who, when you start talking about this, immediately comes to my mind. His name is Trey Black. He is a part of SPA with us. He's a part of Pros vs. Schmoes. He has recently humbled the likes of Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray. He's played OFAB, the number 2K baller in the league, to great competition. So as soon as this is done, man, I'm going to be reaching out on my own, and I'm going to see if we can get you some guys.
Even if we just get him to play Boppem, I just would love to see a great competition. Ask Snipes. When Snipes ever does our Super Bowls are always fire because these guys have been playing. Everyone's a Super Bowl winner, been playing each other regular season, so everyone's getting better. And then by the time we get down to the Super Bowl game, it's fire. These guys are well ironed out and got their game plans and their teams together. So our Super Bowls are always great to watch. So that is coming up soon. We are in week 11. So I imagine in the next 3 weeks or so, we should be in the Super Bowl.
Goldman, it has been a pleasure talking to you, brother. Everything that you guys are doing is awesome to see. I recommend it to anybody out there. It sounds like you are well organized, that you've got some fun stuff going on. Also, I know that there's people out there that hear that there's a $300 prize and they're like, oh, this dude's never going to pay or whatever, because that happens in other places. From everything that I've gathered, I would not have signed you up for this show if I did not believe those things were to be the case. League Crawler puts all their support behind what you're doing, brother. Thank you for being on the show. Is there anything else you want to hit on before we get out of here?
I appreciate you having me here and just getting a chance to be on this platform. Love League Crawler and what you guys do. So keep doing it, and we'll be here to support you as well.
Guys, that is Rest of the Best. It is the best of the best. They are the ballers of the Madden community. If you think you can hang, hit them up. If you need an invite or you need them, you can find them in the Discord over at League Crawler. Again, awesome show today, brother. It was a lot of fun to have you on. Guys, that was the League Crawler episode for this week. We'll see you next week.